Welcome back to Faye's Place, a podcast where dreamers have the liberty to dream. I'm your host, Phaedra, and I am so excited that we have this time to dream together. You may know today's guest as a runner-up of season 21 of The Voice, or because of her hit song Coming in Out of the Rain, or even as a duet partner to the greats like Julio Iglesias and Vince Gill. But she's a mentor to me. I am with Memphis native Wendy Moten. How are you doing, Miss Wendy?
Hello, how are you? So
Um,
happy to be here with you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for stopping by Faye's Place. How have you been feeling?
I'm feeling great. Everything is going beautiful.
Good. Awesome. Awesome. So you have built a substantial career within the music industry, but your original goal was to be a corporate lawyer. Is that correct?
Yes, that was my dream.
So what inspired that dream?
Well, my love for music happened through television. I used to memorize theme songs because they used to be so sophisticated.
Hmm.
Well, when I started to memorize theme songs, one of my favorites was Perry Mason. And that was one of the most sophisticated, sexy songs I ever heard for a
Hmm.
show, Perry Mason. And, Perry Mason only lost one case. And I always felt like, yeah, I want to be a lawyer, not criminal, but corporate. And I wanted to win all my cases and be like at least one of the smartest people in the room because I'm very analytical. So it was just, yeah, I think being a lawyer and winning cases and studying and analyzing and putting the pieces together was very appealing to me.
I love it. That sounds like myself. Now, have you seen the new Matlock show?
I have not,
Okay,
even though the starring role is a Memphian.
you must. I mean,
Kathy
I think
Bates. Is it good?
it is so good. It makes
Okay.
me want to be a lawyer. So you're probably going to be like, Phaedra, I'm going back to school to be a lawyer. I mean, it is so good.
Really? I mean, she's a Memphian, so I'm proud of that. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but I love Kathy
Yes.
Bates.
I love Kathy Bates, and she is a Memphian.
And what I love about it was the diversity that the screenwriters decide to have,
Okay.
because she wasn't 20 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of it was because she is a mature lady.
Yeah.
And then also they have a black character, of course, and an
Okay.
Asian character and a
Yeah.
Hispanic character. So
Nice.
all of the diversity qualifications is right there in that show, and it's wonderful. I love it.
Yes, I'm gonna check it out. I think I may binge it today.
Please, and if you do, text me and say, Phaedra, you were right. You never lied to me,
Phaedra.
Phaedra, ever.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that's great. So I know that you had your undergrad degree. What did you major in?
It was just basic studies, because I had a scholarship to go to Berkeley, but I was like, I'm not gonna be a musician. What am I gonna go there for? So I didn't use it. So since I didn't know what I was gonna do, I just stayed home and went to Memphis State at the time. Now it's called University of Memphis. And it was really just basic studies because, you know, I didn't know what to do with my life, honestly. And then that third year, um, I got a record deal. So I didn't graduate and I didn't finish. And so the record deal happened. And I was like, well, I'll have time to go back to college. And I never did.
That puts me right into my next question. So talk about your time being signed to EMI.
So that was a fluke. That was a gift from God. That was a fate. I say it was fate because I just happened to be in a studio called Cotton Row in Memphis, Tennessee, and I was doing a jingle for the owner there. And, he didn't know that much about me, but he knew I could sing jingles, regional type jingles, commercials for radio. And so this gentleman, Dick Williams, was visiting. He just stopped by the studio to say hello to his friend, Nico Slaris. And he heard me singing and he was like, "Who's that girl?" And Nico was like, "Oh, that's Wendy Moten." "Oh, okay then. What does she sound like with a band?" And he was like, "I don't know. I don't know, man." And so, thank goodness, Nico had a band called Come In Berlin. And they asked if I could come sit in. So I said, sure, I can sit in. and I knew like Whitney Houston's Greatest Love of All and Saving All My Love for You was out, and any Aretha Franklin song. So he was like, yeah, okay, okay, well, come in and sing that stuff. I was like, oh, okay, cool, I will. I had nothing to lose. And I got there and I sang those songs, and he was like, I think I can get you a record deal. And I'm like, what? Yeah, because being an artist was not in the plans for me. I'm from Memphis, and like 98% of the people in my circle were amazing singers and artists. So, and I felt like I fit like the 20%. Like, I didn't ever think that I was like really great, good enough. But so Dick Williams was like, I can get you a record deal. He said, I'm gonna come back here in a couple of months and I'll have songs. I said, okay. And then he brought the songs, Coming Out of the Rain, and a couple of others, and we demoed up those songs. And I said, I'm not signing anything because I know about the music business, and I'm not going to sign nothing until we got a record deal. And then, so he went out there and he had a bidding war going on between Warner Brothers, Elektra, and EMI. And we chose EMI, and that's how they got started.
That is amazing. So you started off doing jingles. How did you get into that?
People knew I could sing in town, and little things would pop up. Oh, she's a good singer. Yeah, she's all right.
She's all
Uh, I was popular in gospel choirs. Gospel choirs. I was in a choir called The
right.
Voices. So it's amazing that The Voice is always a part of my situation here. The Voices, and
See,
they were okay, and it was a big choir, like 100 people, and they did a lot of had original music and did a lot of big concerts, and I was one of the main singers in this choir. So my name kind of got out that way. I did theme park when I was 16, 17 years old, so my name got out that way. I won the big talent show, the Mid-South Fair, when I was 17, and you get in the newspaper. And so my name was kind of getting out, you know, on a local level. And I guess that's how the jingle happened.
well, that's amazing. From your first record, it was self-entitled, right? Wendy Moten.
Yeah.
I love that record. It's so good. How was the process of picking those songs? Did you have any say in picking those songs?
I did. I could say if I liked them or not, but I was so green in that I didn't even know what a great song is. I didn't write. So Dick Williams, who was head of marketing promotions at Warner Brothers for a long time before he retired and wanted to manage artists, he understood what it took to break a big act, a big artist, and so he kind of handled it all, picked the songs, and and we did it in Memphis. That was a conscious choice. But what I loved about him was that he taught me the business, and he included me on all the decisions. And maybe that's because I didn't want to sign a contract. That's like, I'm not interested in signing any management contracts until I see some real proof. And he wasn't running away from that. And he also wanted that. He wanted to make sure that he was able to deliver. And so coming out of the ring, he picked all the songs. He picked the first 3 songs to get it going, and then he picked all the songs after that. And we ended up using the same writer. His name was Curtis Boone from Detroit, Michigan, and he didn't even have a piano. He never even owned a piano, and he drew a piano on his kitchen table, and he wrote "Coming Out of the Rain." He wrote some of my other songs. I can't think of the titles right now, but
Yes.
beautiful ballads.
What about Step by Step?
And he didn't. That was a whole different entity. The record company
Okay.
came in the ninth hour, and they presented something step by step with this other organization from New York.
I love that song.
Okay, and they made that the first single, and I
And
forgot the name of the video.
the music video was amazing. I
That
love
was
that song.
something. That's my first video. I was like, okay, oh,
And then
okay.
my other favorite one was So Close to Love.
Yes, so close to love. I love that video. And Curtis wrote that song on his kitchen table too, without a piano. Okay,
That is talent.
he didn't own a piano. He wrote the song on his kitchen table. It looked like a piano. And coming out of the rain, uh, which did the greatest for my career, I couldn't beat the demo. So the demo is the record version, and there's distortion and stuff, noise, because I couldn't beat the performance of the demo. So we kept the demo as the main. We prefer to have the performance more than perfection.
That's really great. So how long did it take to create that whole project?
I don't even remember. I don't know. Because it's like a child, time is different when you're a child. Everything seems longer or whatever. And now as an adult we know what time is. So I was a child on that process and I couldn't tell you about time. And prime example, I remember there was a famous DJ icon
Hmm.
called Casey Kasem. And being on his top 20, 40, I don't know what he did, was a big deal. It was before MTV. And being Casey Kasem saying your name was big. And so the other day I was thinking, like, I heard Casey Kasem say my name on the radio and say coming out of the rain. And I wonder if that's anywhere in the world digitally somewhere. So I started to search. And my search got disrupted because I found the one chart from his show was February 1993. And I looked at this list, the chart of the artists and where they placed that week. This was just 48 hours ago.
Oh my goodness. Tell us.
I tear up thinking about it.
Tell
That
us.
I, again, was an infant in this business. And I have to tell you, I'm going to share it with you.
Yes.
It is every icon on the chart at the same time. I'm on the charts with Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston,
Of course you are, though.
Paul McCartney, and I was unaware of where I was in my career. I was unaware. And when I looked at that and I saw that I was charting with the biggest icons in American history and the world, that I was charting right there with it was 18, it was 20 going up to 18. Whitney had two on there. I Have Nothing was one of it. It has come in at 22.
Hmm.
And then Michael Jackson. And it was like all of these, Paul McCartney. I was unaware, an infant of my surroundings. And it gave me great inspiration
Yeah.
of where I was.
And what's wonderful is that you sound the same and even better.
Thank you. Well, it's
You,
because I continue to do the work. And that also helps me with my journey, is that even then, I was qualified, obviously. And then to see it in print and that I was unaware. That's why I say the infants, everything looks either bigger or you can't see everything. When you're a child, a toddler, you can't see all the information.
right.
You just can't. You can stand, but you still don't know all the information around you. And that gave me even more understanding of where I was during that time. Yes, I did the work and I was aware and I showed up. But when I looked at that list, when I looked at that chart, I was like, wow.
So I love that you say that you did the work and you're continuing to do the work. So how does that look practically? What are you doing to upkeep your voice or stay relevant?
I take a job, a gig, a session, a tour with the knowledge that I'm going to do my ultimate best and I expect to reap benefits from my labor. That means get paid and expecting the next thing to be waiting on me. And that's what's been going on my whole career. The next thing has always been right there.
Now, you are classically trained, am I correct?
Yes.
What are some tips that you use to keep your voice warmed up or healthy?
Well, I'm bad with that. And as I get older, I should practice, but I don't. But I will drink warm tea. And if I feel like it's taking me a little longer, I'll do a few little vocal exercises just to warm up. And I should have more discipline when it comes to that, but I'm always working, so I'm always warmed up. Every day there's sessions, there's something, a performance. So it's every day I'm strapped, stretched. I'm exhausted most of the time, but the saying is you can rest when the phone stops ringing.
So let's go back to the time at EMI. Talk about the practical feelings and your thought process of redirecting your dream. So after that season closed, what was your self-talk as to saying like what is my next steps?
Well, my record deal lasted from 1992 until 1998. I put out 3 albums.
Hmm.
The industry was beginning to change. By the third one, rap and hip hop was born. So pop R&B was no longer interesting. So because hip hop was born and rap became big. So I understood that transition was coming, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't dream about being a star. I wanted to be a lawyer. So, that thing of I want to be a star when I grow up, or, I want to be amazing sing. I didn't have those dreams. I was shy, and the last thing I wanted to do was be in front of an audience. So I had to, again, like I say, I expect the other thing to be there before this thing ends. And sure enough, Julio Iglesias came into my life,
Wow.
and he wanted to make me his duet partner. And I said, okay, I'll stay for like a year and I'll learn something from one of the greatest singers in music history. And the pay was crazy. And I was going to travel the world, which I love. And it's the private planes and all that stuff that goes along with that lifestyle. And so here's my opportunity. It's right in front of my face. I'm just going to stay a year. Well, that year turned into 15 years, mainly because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my career. Number two, the money was like insane. And number three, I was learning how to be a great artist. I was learning from one of the greatest artists in music history how to deliver and how to be true to myself. And he's the one that taught me about phrasing without telling me he's teaching me. He showed me and he kept me close. And, when we would sing our duets, he used to move my microphone in real time, no matter it was 10,000 or 60,000 people. He'd be behind me as we're doing a duet. And thank goodness I never said, "What are you doing?"
I know. I was like,
No, I just stay professional.
hmm.
And he was teaching me vocal technique, and he was teaching me uh mic technique. He knew more about me than I did as a singer. And he respected me enough to train me without telling me he's training me. And I was intelligent enough to recognize that's what's happening and don't mess it up by asking what is he doing when I know what he's doing. Just pay attention. Don't ask the stupid question to mess it up. And so, because of that, I've become a vocal technician. So I, have to explain to engineers that I like to control the dynamics because I like to go soft and loud, hold notes longer than natural. So I'm a vocal technician, but I learned that from him because he would go like loud and he would go and then people would go crazy and I used to be like, what is that? How do you make 60,000 people go crazy above a whisper? What is that? And so I learned what that is, and now I have my own version of that I perfected. And so I call them Wendy Motenisms. And so I was being paid to learn, and he knew that without telling me. He just would do it, and I knew not to ask, what is he doing? Just go with it.
What's another tip that he taught you that you probably didn't recognize beforehand, but now that you look back, you're like, oh, this is a lesson that not a lot of people know, and you're grateful that you have the opportunity to know it. What is that?
His artistry, he never compromised. The stuff that you know, that's just it. That's what you know. I can't bring, he has a certain sound for his live shows. It has a lot of reverb, a lot of delay. That's the Julio Iglesias sounds. And you would have engineers come in and try to change it because it wasn't what was happening normally. That wasn't what was current, but that's not his sound. I just need you to mix my sound the way I need you to mix my sound. So that's something he was not going to compromise on. So either give me my sign. Well, she a black lady. Give me her.
I was going to say, because Beyonce did say that sometimes she feels that people
Oh
don't
no, they
listen
try to
to
talk her
her.
out of stuff all the time and say, "Well, that's not possible." She said, "No, I know that it is. I know that it is. So I don't compromise unless it's something that I may need a little bit more information on. Then I want to hear what you got to say about it before I shut it down. Otherwise, what I know that I know that I know, there ain't no
Yeah,
compromise.
that's a lesson that everybody still needs to learn, especially being a minority, especially being a woman. Sometimes we're
Being a
just,
woman, period. Being a woman.
yeah, socially we are taught to just say, oh, whatever you say, or just to dummy down everything. So
Yeah.
So you are a big proponent of pursuing your dreams in spite of age. And we see that largely in your song Don't Give Up that you wrote with your fiance David Santos and also when you tackled The Voice. So what are you currently dreaming of?
What I'm currently dreaming of is archiving my life history because I never look back at my road. I'm always thinking forward. I'm always forward thinking, and I don't really pay attention to the past because it takes up space. I don't want to dwell in the past. The only things from the past are my parents and the people I love that are gone, and that's it. I want to restructure some of the things that I need to incorporate, which is creating a better fan base. And not that I was resisting that, I never had time, and I knew that's something you need. And so now I just need my ride and dies to go with me for this last part of the race, and just make Wendy Moten my job. That's my goal.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
And I love that you brought that up because September 8th, am I correct?
Yes.
In New York City, you will be performing at Birdland. So, what
Yes.
can we expect to see?
Well, what's great about Birdland? It's a historic club, and I'm so honored that I get for them to call and they're Jim Caruso is like, "Hey, is it time to come home?" And I'm always like, "Yes, it is," because it's such an honor to play there. And they just let me sing whatever I want, and I love that. I appreciate that. And this show is going to be from soul to jazz, so there'll be some R&B in there with some jazz standards. And because I didn't write these songs, maybe I wrote three of them. My interpretation of the songs was supposed to make them original. And I've always wanted to be that kind of artist that you find yourself in the song.
Yeah.
And so that I've mastered for myself. And that's why I don't mind singing covers. And I also like having a lot of conversations. So I talk a lot in my shows, and which makes people feel a part of it and included more than just you just listen to me sing song to song to song. I tell jokes, I talk a little bit. It all depends. It's all spontaneous. And then what I realized is including people, they don't care what you sing. They just trust it's going to be good. And when I was released from, I gotta have new music and I gotta get in a van and go all over America and promote my music, because I don't want to do that. To thy own self be true. I recognize that's not what I want to do. I love the fact that the songs that I sing have been done before. It's the messages that I want to give to people, and they've been written. And it's okay having a few originals, but the songs I want to sing have the message that I want to give to people. And I've used my skills to interpret that in a way that I want people to hear it. And my purpose for singing is for the spirit, for me to reach somebody's soul. Whether it's inspirational, I make them cry, laugh, whatever, make them feel whole, make them feel seen, loved. So that's my purpose.
Speaking of your interpretations, one of the best, I mean, everything you do is amazing, but it's really highlighted when you sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Mm. Okay.
Who came up with that arrangement, or talk about your interpretation with that song?
Well, that's the easy one because the Queen, Patti LaBelle, came up with that, released that in 1981. So Patti LaBelle made that happen. And I just copied her for the early years of my life
Mhm.
and then found my way, you know, as I sang it over time. When I was 17 years old and I won the Mid-South Fair in Memphis, Tennessee, the big fair, you win $7,000. They send you to California for an audition for TV, and because it
What?
was under CBS. It was under CBS. So I won the Mid-South Fair singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow when I was 17 years old.
Full circle moment. We were talking about Don't Give Up, your record. I love that song. It's amazing. Everybody needs to
Thank you.
go stream it right now. Wherever you listen to music, make sure you stream it. So you wrote that with Mr. David.
Yeah, David Santos. In 2000 and 2009, we wrote that song.
And when did you release it? Like just a couple
We
of years
released it. Well, we released it last year. Well, actually, it was 2023.
ago?
We released it because I was going back on The Voice for Blake Shelton's send off, his last shows, and I wanted to have something to talk about. And it's a true story. I think when we wrote it in 2009, we were trying to inspire each other to not give up. And then when you listen to the second verse, he wrote the first verse. I wrote the second verse. The second verse is real story. I know how it feels to be afraid and alone. As your dreams disappear, all the things you thought you knew so well have gone on with the tears. You got to fight on. I know it's hard to do. You can take broken dreams and make them all new. Just believe. I know it's hard to do. We can do it together, me and you. It's the
What?
broken dreams part,
Whew.
okay? And make them all new.
So let's talk about that. So people who are dealing with their broken dreams, what kind of advice would you give them? Or what?
Make them all new.
So is that getting new dreams? Is that
Yeah, no, we
reinvention?
always have new dreams. If
Mm,
that dream ain't working, create a new dream.
I love that.
It's the only way.
I
It's the
love
only
that
thing.
perspective.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that dream didn't work, or that dream it ain't your dream. That's something you want. That ain't something that's for you. If it was for you, you'll have it. Period. So
I,
you gotta have a new dream. You can't just stop with one dream. Even the people who have a great idea, there's still other components that go along with the idea, which keeps evolving.
I love that. I read somewhere there was like it's okay to start again, but this time you're not starting from scratch.
No, you're not starting from scratch.
And that has been such a source of encouragement, I know for me, because it's like sometimes it can be really daunting when
Right.
you, especially like when you have, I'm very strategic. And so when you
Yes.
find yourself being very strategic and you're like, oh, this did not go the way that it was supposed to, it's a good reminder to say, well, take what you have learned from that situation and you're not starting from scratch.
Well, that and David and I in this business, we just say next. It's
Mm.
easier. Next, done. Period. Next. There's no remorse. There's no residuals. Just next.
Now, how long did it take you to get to that stage? Because I'm sure you just.
I've always been analytical as a little girl my whole life. I
Mm,
don't like trauma. I don't like drama. I believed when it was for you, you can have it. I believed if you asked for it and God gave it to you, either you got faith or you don't. And if I didn't get it, that means probably deep down inside I knew that I wasn't sure. Deep down inside, I knew I wasn't sure. Because He gives you the desires of your heart.
that's right.
He will give you what you ask for if you know what it is. If you still guessing, I don't even say if it's your will, Lord, in my prayers. I don't need to say if nothing. Either it, if what? You told me to ask and
Right.
it shall be given. There ain't no if. I don't know where if came in. If came in through man somewhere. A man said if it's your will. If what? Ain't no ifs in my life, my prayers. There ain't no ifs.
Hmm.
So I took that out of my prayers. If it's your will, Lord, yeah. If what are you doubting me? Didn't I said I'd do what I said I was gonna do? You don't know what you want. So soul searching is crucial. Even with myself, I realized what kind of artist. I realized that a conventional lane, which is get a record deal, you sell records, you have a fan base that follows you for the rest of your life. It wasn't for me. We tried that. And so anytime I would go on that conventional side, I didn't get results. But if I stayed on the unconventional side for Wendy Moten, it's endless. I'm never out of work.
That's
The fans, the stars are my fans.
they are.
And so it remains a high level, but I recognize that the conventional side, that ain't gonna never be for me. So don't fight what's the truth. So, okay, I'm gonna stay on the unconventional side. I might not be a household name, but do I stay busy? Do I make the living I want to? Do I get the respect? Do I the gigs keep coming? Okay, well, my existence survives on an unconventional side. So I made peace with that. Great. And ever since then, I'm never out of work. I'm never out of amazing opportunities, great ones, because I know that's the side I'm supposed to be on. I'm not fighting for this other thing, looking at somebody else's lane. Pay attention to your own lane because if you do that, then you can create any scenario. You can create how many trees, what the street looks like.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm looking over there saying, how come nobody likes me as much as Whitney? How come I'm not like her? How come I'm not Beyonce? I can sing country. How come I'm not? Well, you know what? You've already wasted so much time. You wasted way too much time. Nobody cares, and that's not your lane. And people don't understand. It takes a lot to be Beyonce. She don't get no sleep, and she's a mom.
I know.
And she recognized that control and power was how she was going to keep her success and keep her sanity. And I recognize that too. I'm just on a different side. So, dealing with your truth is important. And I recognize that, yeah, do I want to be a household name? Sometimes, sometimes.
Well, you are. I know many people when I say I know Wendy Moten, they were like, The Voice, oh my goodness. And so I was like, I knew her before The Voice.
I know.
So you are a household name. So before we go, a little girl talk. Your fiance is also a musician. Do
Yes.
you think two musicians should be together, or do you think that everyone should have their own lane?
It's important that everybody has their own dreams. It don't matter if you're a musician or not. If you got somebody that's afraid of you moving forward, that ain't gonna work anyway. If you jealous of that other person moving forward, it ain't gonna work anyway. You have to have somebody in your life where you support each other's dreams and each other's biggest cheerleaders. It don't matter, musician, doctor, lawyer, whatever it is, they need to have their own dreams and be actively going towards those dreams every day. And then you talk about it together and you get each other's out of the funk of setbacks and disappointments. You get each other out immediately.
I love that.
And
Hence, don't give up the song.
exactly, hence the song. And so, the goal is it don't matter what they do for a living as long as they are not holding you back and holding you back because you may be move forward.
Wise
No,
words.
it's the truth and it's important because if I feel like you're trying to hold me back, I'm out anyway. I'm gone. I am out. If you make me try to choose between me and my family, I'm out. We know we will not. If somebody came and tried to make you choose between you and your family, they've lost already. They've already lost the battle.
I love
So
that.
it's not gonna happen. I mean, it could, and if it is, you get out.
Get out, people. Get out.
Get
Okay,
out.
one last question before we end this wonderful conversation.
Yes.
What was one of your favorite moments in your career or funniest moments that you have had either on stage or doing a record?
Funniest, I don't know, it's too many to remember. One crazy moment in time that happened was me falling on the voice and breaking my elbows
Oh
in
my God.
2021, and I becoming a meme became a meme, and Entertainment Tonight played the fall over and over and over. Do do do
No,
do
they
do do
didn't.
do 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 do. They played the fall over and over,
Not with the music.
and they were like, the front runner. What's gonna happen now to the front runner? Yeah,
That's horrible. Who did that? Let me call them up real quick.
I don't know. But I have to say that fall was for me. I wasn't embarrassed. I didn't cry. I was on the set the next day, you know, ready to go with two broken arms and splints. And that to me said, if you can do that on national TV, it was the last 3 weeks of The Voice to the finale, and you're not phased by it at all, then you can make your dreams come true. Because that didn't stop me at all. They flew my sister in there to take care of me because I couldn't use my arms. But I'm saying if I could do that for 3 weeks on national television, I don't need to hear no naysayer. I don't even hear the naysayers. Anybody tell me I can't, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I went on national TV with two broken arms and fell on TV, on live TV, and was there the next day. Okay, they can say it's professional, but for me, that was any kind of doubt that I had, self doubt, that went away. There is no self doubt in Wendy Moten ever after doing that show and after that fall and being back on set the next day. There is no doubt. There is no self doubt about anything that I put my mind to. No human can make me doubt myself on any level.
I love that. And what a wonderful way to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Miss Wendy, for stopping by
Thank
Feed's
you.
Place.
Thank you.
And you're welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on your show.
Thank you.
I love you all for listening.